Hi, I'm Toby Wilkinson. I'm an analyst at PA Consulting. I would say that my career into cyber probably began during the WannaCry ransomware attack. It was the first time that I'd ever seen a cyber attack have such a big impact on society, and it was, headline news for a couple of days. And because of how much chaos it caused, I was kind of blown away by the way that a hacker was able to have an impact on the critical functions of like the NHS and seeing how it can affect everyday life, and even in the worst case scenario, have an impact on like risk to life. I think that once that caught my interest, I began looking at universities outside, like for when I finished school, and there was quite a few options in Scotland. There was ones that looked at it from a defensive point of view, cyber with digital forensic, kind of generic with a bit of cyber at the end. And I knew that I really wanted to do something offensive security related, so I chose to study at Abertay University. And I always like to talk really highly of my uni because I think I really enjoyed it. The module looked at kind of different aspects to cyber, really helped me get a bigger picture of the industry and also look at the offensive side, which I really, really enjoy. And it was also pretty unique because it's a modern university. It's obviously a very modern course. And it was really interesting to say that I was learning how to hack while other people were at university doing kind of history and maths and that kind of thing. During that time at uni, I found my specialty, and it wasn't really something that was covered in the course. I chose operational technology pen testing because I was really fascinated by the real world effects of that. If you were to shut down a power plant, it could cause a loss of power, blackouts, life-saving hospital equipment could go down, critical services cut off, and it could have really pretty major ramifications. And the thought of preventing that is the difference that I wanted to make in life. And so from that, made my honours project creating Raspberry Pis to simulate an industrial control system process. With like devices like PLCs and SCADA devices, which had common vulnerabilities that I could then do a security assessment of. And I was actually really proud I was able to present that at the opening of a new building at my university to Scottish and UK government ministers called the Cyber Quarter. And also I got another great opportunity to be the winner of an IoT hackathon, and there was a lot of really great opportunities to get involved with throughout university, which I was really grateful for. When I graduated, I began applying for a lot of different roles in energy and utility companies, big tech graduate schemes, and it was until I was approached by a former student at Abertay who offered me a reference to the graduate program here at PA. And ever since then, I've been working my dream. Working at PA is a great opportunity for me, able to take part in security assurance tests, so like pen tests or working on projects. The project work is a bit more long term. You work with one client where you can tackle complex problems anywhere from a few weeks to a few years. I've worked on a few projects in my time. They're all hugely different, but I've seen with my own eyes kind of businesses have been transformed in a really short space of time, and it has a real big impact. It's also great, you get to meet people across the firm because PA also offers a lot more than just cyber. So for example, if you're doing like a cyber culture project, it would be a blend of like the cyber team and the people and change team. And this means that the client's always getting kind of the most skilled person for the job. I think it's a really great environment where you're able to kind of nurture and get your do a lot of personal development. And that's really supported by a lot of the experts at PA, a lot of people to look up to. There's a lot of time for training and certifications, and I just make sure that my skill set is as high quality as possible. And no 2 weeks are ever the same in consulting. Huge variety of work. You need to constantly keep learning and adapting and becoming resilient. And so, for example, like outside of work, the role also still has a lot to offer. We do a lot of charity work, and I was really encouraged to get involved in this. For example, like me and my colleagues, we tidied and built a path at a local park for a local charity. And then towards the end of this year, I'm giving a digital masterclass to disadvantaged school kids around the country about IoT and smart home security, which will hopefully encourage them to choose a career in cyber as well. Making an impact that really doesn't stop with the clients. And I think that's one thing that I really enjoy about this job. Yeah, I think getting the CREST CPSA was a really big milestone for me. It is the industry standard certification for offensive cybersecurity. The journey there required a lot of time just dedicated to studying key knowledge that's probably the basis for a lot of like pen test engagements. And I was able to gain a really solid foundation of knowledge and understanding that it's the kind of things that'll stick with you for the rest of your career. It was also really great because like my work were able to encourage me to get it. They gave me time to learn, to study for it. And most of the team are CREST certified as well. And that allows us to offer better pen test services and just in general higher quality work. Doing big exams like CPSA is I'm a much bigger fan of practical work than theoretical. So this type of exam could be quite difficult, but you just got to stick at it, be resilient, and just learn the syllabus as much as you can. And ultimately, it paid off, and I'm really, really happy about it. I think the next big step for me would be get evaluated on my practical skills when I sit the CREST Register Tester exam at some point in the future, and I really look forward to doing that. Cybersecurity, I think, is unique in that it's always evolving. For example, like a penetration tester or the consultant analyst is not a common job 20 years ago. I think 20 years from now, the types of jobs that we'll be doing will be very different as well. And with cyber, you always need to stay ahead of the curve, keeping up to date with new trends and methods because you don't want to be caught out by your adversary having better tricks than you. And so the biggest change, I think, was probably the advent of quantum computing. I think for a long time this was viewed as the next big step for computers until AI obviously came into the mainstream and made advancements, which of course will revolutionize the industry. But I think quantum computing, giving people the ability to do things that they've done on computers, but a lot faster, at scales that we've never seen before, is going to be a game changer. A lot of encryption methods, for example, rely on the assumption that the maths behind it will be too hard to break with the current computer speeds. And that may no longer, or in the future, may no longer be the case. And I think that could be really interesting to see how that shifts the landscape. And I think as well, of course, AI will change the industry, but I think that will change it for both challenges and opportunities. You no longer need a technical background to become a hacker. You can just ask the AI for step-by-step instructions on what to do. It can literally make the code for you. And for example, like phishing, if you wanted to fish someone, you just ask the AI to make a professional looking email with the correct spelling. The days of spotting phishing emails by spelling mistakes are over. You can't do that anymore. They all look far too easy, far too legitimate. And this other methods as well, kind of like the web crawling stuff that comes from AI. They can make OSINT profiles of people or businesses, and it's going to allow for more sophisticated and personalized attacks. But then on the other hand, with the opportunities, machine learning techniques can and already are being used to enhance SIEM tools. They live within a network, learn what is legitimate, and then hopefully flag when something malicious happens because they know what is the norm. And I think another big change in the industry that I think we'll see is probably the convergence of the protection of physical assets and infrastructure and cyber. We've seen this in huge growth of the operational technology industry, but also I think in a smaller scale with stuff kind of like the cyber techniques of counter drone activities, both in the war in Ukraine and also with critical infrastructure sites in the UK. I think these will be really big things that will shape the industry in the next couple of years. One piece of advice that I always give people when they ask me about a career in cyber is I think you've got to be passionate about what you do. I was passionate for before university, but then in first year I kind of lacked the motivation to be able to enjoy it properly, and I really found myself playing catch up on that later in my education. I look back and I wish that I'd made the most of the first year, but because of that, it encourages me to nurture my passion and not miss out on any opportunities that may come again. And I think in order to be passionate about what you do, you actually need to enjoy it. Find what it is in cyber that makes you excited, makes you want to sit at your desk and keep trying and keep learning. I think there's a huge range of roles out there that all look so different from each other. And, with so many options, you will be able to find something that you enjoy. Don't just choose especially because it's the latest trend or because you read online that they pay the most. Do it because you genuinely enjoy it and you want to make a difference in that area. When you wake up in the morning excited about the work that you do, it actually makes a world of difference, I feel. Another big piece of advice that I'd give is go out there and get experience. You don't need to just have a job to get experience. There's so much stuff that you can do to build a track record. Take part in a CTF, get an internship for the summer, write up in your blog about the CTF or any research that you've done, give talks at conferences about it. Things like this can really show your skill level, gives you something to strive for, and also build a name for yourself in the industry. And this can be used for direct evidence to give to employers when you come to applying a job. I think there's a huge number of resources available out there, from internet hacking labs, corporate white papers about risk, research papers on innovative methods, training courses, and even kind of growing your network, speaking with experts. My favorite ways to learn are by doing online hacking labs, which can give you hands-on teaching experience, allows you to practice techniques on live systems with and seeing the effects of them. And you get a real good educational value from that. If you prefer theory learning, there's lots of good books out there. The Web App Hacker's Handbook, Network Security Assessment, they can be really beneficial, especially if you're doing them side by side. You can have the textbook beside you while doing the work, do the theory, do the practical, and tie it all in together. And I think that's really beneficial. I think another method of learning that I really enjoy is training courses as well. They offer quite a lot here at PA, and I've had the opportunity to go on quite a few of them, and it's great to spend a couple of days with like-minded people who all want to learn about the topic that you're interested in, and you get to speak with them, bounce ideas off them, and it's a really great opportunity to learn, I feel. And I think as well, the another great way of learning is getting that full holistic experience by building stuff yourself. Build labs, build servers, virtualize networks, build the defenses, and then try and attack it. You get the experience applying cyber principles, you get the technical skills from being able to set it all up, and then also you get the experience of being able to break it down, and that's ultimately what we want. And that can allow you to have better value when you go to work with clients in the future.